From the shores of Malibu where the waves are pumping, to the Great Wall of China, and back to the streets of Los Angeles where the UFC is coming. We are live. This is It's Time Radio, the show where we talk about what you think about, but may be afraid to voice. Do not worry, we will voice it for you. We talk about it all, and we'll continue to talk about it all into 2025. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, movies, TV, politics, UFC, you name it, we'll talk about it. I'm here with my co-host, TJ DeSantis. I'm here with Ray Longo, our very special friend of the show. Gentlemen, how was your Christmas? How's everything going? And happy New Year.
Yeah, everything was great, Bruce. I hope you guys had a great Christmas also. And Happy New Year to you guys all, too.
Thank you.
And I'll
Very
tell
well
you,
put,
Bruce,
Ray.
you
Very
know what I'm impressed
emotional.
with?
I love the emotion in your voice. I love the, that.
No, you see,
I can tell you really meant it, Ray.
You know what's funny, Bruce? Like I was watching you before the intro, and you kind of looked like you were down in the dumps a little bit, wasn't? And then that intro comes on. TJ, he just wakes up. It's like a transformation. I'm in shock.
It's a
As soon as he starts talking.
Not down in the dumps. It's like it's December 30th. Yeah, there's no work to do. I wake up and I got 8,000 things to get done here. So
Man.
What
You
can I
could see
say?
you were preoccupied, but you're back. That's all that matters. You could snap in and out of it at the drop of a dime.
I'm back, baby. I'm back. You want me to put on the
That's it.
Superman outfit right now?
I think
Here we
you
are.
got it on. There it is.
Okay, we're good. All right, gentlemen. Merry Christmas, pre-Happy New Year, all the good stuff. All my best wishes to you and your families and everything else that goes with it. Hope you got some nice gifts, some good food, gained some weight, had some drinks. Yes?
I've lost some weight, for the record.
Yeah, I
Lost?
probably put on.
Yeah,
I
I'm
probably
down.
put on
I'm
a
down
couple
25
pounds.
pounds.
Oh,
Wow.
you look it actually. Yeah, you look very trim.
Yeah, thank you.
Very
You
trim.
doing it the hard way or Ozempic? Which way you going?
Oh, I'm doing it the Ozempic way, Ray Longo.
I was going to
Yeah.
say,
I am
taking
a hard
Oz-
worker.
are you doing Ozempic?
I
And
am.
you like
yeah.
it? You
Wow.
like it?
Yeah, it's. I mean, what's weird about it, guys, is like I don't notice that I'm doing anything different. My eating habits have changed so much, and like I think that if I stop doing the medication, I would just need to be more disciplined. Like that's the
Yeah, well,
to
that-
me,
well,
this
hope-
isn't a long-term solution. It's just an aid to make better choices.
I think that's perfect. And once you get those habits instilled, then you
Yeah.
get off it and you're going to be fine. Yeah,
Well,
I think that's
I mean, obviously, we've all dieted at one point or another. The hardest part of a diet is the first like 2 or 3 weeks. Once you
Yeah.
settle into it, though, and you become down to like a rhythm and a routine, and your body adjusts to it, then it's not that hard.
100%.
Just remember that the first three words of diet are DIE.
Right.
Die. Okay.
Right.
And I only say that because the fact that most people, their diets, they die. They do it for their 2 or 3 weeks. They lose their weight 2 or 3 months. Not you, TJ. You keep up with your Ozempic process. But then they come back and they wind up gaining more weight than they lost.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't know if you remember this, Bruce. Ray probably doesn't. But I lost like 100 pounds the hard way, like 10 years ago. I was close to 300 pounds. I got down to 189 pounds.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
huge.
But for me, I was younger. I was like 30 years old, and I was running every day, and I just decided my body, guys. Like I'm not an extremely old man, but at 41 years old, I just can't go
41.
run like that anymore.
41. That's like yesterday's 21.
I know.
41. No, that 41 is young. I mean,
Yeah,
Weidman just had a fight. He's 40.
I know. I'm not a pro athlete though. I'm just a couch
No,
potato.
you could do it. 41 is too young. That's young. But I'm happy for you. Keep it off and then get those habits going and get right back on. You could always do something, walking, weightlifting. I don't care how bad your body is.
Well, do
Yeah.
your 10,000 steps a day, right?
Try to, right? Get out there and move.
Yeah,
Take the whole thing.
exactly.
Sorry about that.
Exactly. Okay, guys, listen, while we're on the subject of whatever subject we're on, I want to just start off the show by saying my condolences and sincere best wishes go out to the family of President Jimmy Carter,
Yeah.
who passed away. Fine man, fine president, lived to be 100 years old, obviously had a wonderful life, and he deserves he deserves kudos for what he did. I believe.
This kind of took me by surprise. Do you know who the oldest living president is now after Carter passing?
No, I do not.
Can you guess?
Got it.
Let me think about that for a second. I'm going to think Bill Clinton
It's
Joe
probably
Biden.
Biden. Biden.
or
Yeah,
Biden. What am I saying? Biden. Oh my God, jeez.
But
Pardon
it's
me.
weird that the next oldest president after Carter is the active president.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought you meant past presidents.
And then do you
My
know who
pardon.
the second oldest president is after Biden?
Well, obviously it's not
Trump.
Jimmy Carter.
Trump. You're right, Ray. Trump.
Wow. And the third?
That's
That's got to be Clinton.
yeah. That is
Yeah, that has to be Clinton, I would think.
yeah, it is.
Interesting. Well, you know what? Let's not talk posthumously about the other two. Just again, sincere wishes and condolences to the family and loved ones of Jimmy Carter and all his fans as far as citizens of the United States. So there we go. Okay, guys, there's a lot of news here involving fights, involving different things. Scuttlebutt going out about Conor McGregor going to fight Logan Paul in the summer for $250 million each for a payday. Ray, is this another one of these social media bullshit posts, or is there reality to this? TJ, you know anything about this?
I believe it's a bullshit post.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fight game, guys. I don't believe anything until there's an
Yeah, I
official.
mean, I
announcement.
believe it's a bullshit post for the reason. I'm not 100% sure. Does anybody want to see Conor McGregor fight on the magnitude that they used to want to see him fight? I say no. I say
don't think
no.
so.
Another year, nobody's even gonna know who he is. This fan base switches over like every 5 years.
Well,
It rotates.
I don't.
Well, it's about
feel
staying
like
relevant. About staying
Yeah.
relevant, but
That's what
what he's
that's what
done,
he's
pardon me,
doing it
guys,
for.
it's about staying relevant, but the news about Conor that's come out recently does not help somebody stay relevant.
For sure. Also, too, the appeal of him fighting isn't boxing. If anybody wants to see him fight, they want to see him do MMA.
Yes.
I don't think that there's a market there to see him box.
I don't think so
Yeah.
either.
Yeah,
No.
if
And if
it'd
he
be
came
an-
back to MMA and it came back to the UFC, I saw Nate Diaz recently in Las Vegas. We were talking about this. Who would you like to see him fight? I mean, I don't think he can beat any of the top 5 contenders. Potentially. I mean, of course, anybody can beat anybody on a given day. I'm not taking anything away from Conor. We all know he's a fine fighter, but, it's been what now? How long's it been?
2022, I think.
Okay, so 2 years, all that goes with that.
Maybe 2021.
And then when's the last time Conor won a fight?
Last time Connor won a fight was 2020 when he beat Cowboy.
Yeah. Well, okay, so then anything's possible. I mean, he's
guys,
still
here's
one
the
hell of
thing.
an athlete. He's still in relatively in his prime to a degree.
He-
So anything can happen.
Here's the thing. I think, Connor can beat anybody if Connor's in good form.
Yeah.
What are the odds that Connor's in great form? He's had a lot of extracurriculars outside of the octagon. And also too, he's still coming off a horrific injury. I'm not confident that, we can even really forecast what Connor would look like because he's been through so much since the last time we've, watched him work. So I don't know.
Right, right. Well, you know what? Speaking of Cowboy's coming back. He wants
Well,
2
there
more
we
fights.
made the fight. Cowboy McGregor 2. Book it.
No, that's not a fight to book.
No, I don't know, but
No,
nobody
no
wants to
offense to
see
either
that fight.
fighter by any standard, And I
I
love
mean,
yeah.
I love Cowboy.
Let me
I love
ask you
seeing him
this.
fight.
Let me ask you this, Ray, because Ray has been so pro Khabib walking away from his retirement. A lot of people, Ray, they
Right.
wanted Khabib to come back, and you were the one going, "No, I want him to stand by his word." He stood by his word. What do you feel when you hear about a guy like Cowboy going, "You know what? I want to come back," after we, saw him lay his gloves down and had his, goodbye speech?
I don't know. I think it's probably a cash grab. How old is Cowboy now?
I don't know. In
Probably
fight
Cowboy's
years,
got to be
80.
what, about
Look,
42?
I mean, it's a weird thing. Look, guys, once you taste the spotlight, the way these guys have, that's why I think it was incredible what Khabib, because that shit obviously didn't matter an iota to him. But these other guys, for whatever's going on in their in their heads. They feel like they have to stay out there, or they miss something, or they need something, or they got to validate themselves.
I think as a fighter, when you're not fighting, in the case of Cowboy and all the other extracurricular activities he goes after, which is quite interesting because
Yeah,
he's truly a man's man, no matter how you
yeah,
cut it.
yeah, yeah.
Cowboy is a man's man. But, once a fighter, always a fighter. I mean, you want to get in there, and I'm sure his contract calls for 2 very nice paydays for him. And why not grab him when you can,
Yeah, I got no problem with that.
I got no problem with that at all.
No,
Let's
that's
let's switch gears here for a second. Still staying in the fight game. There's only so much we can say about Conor the other, but let's talk about the breakthrough fighters of the year, right? Obviously, Ilia Topuria, right?
Yeah.
No question. Obviously, Alexander Pereira.
Mm.
No question.
Those are, but the breakthrough fighters. They were all.
Well, I mean, no, the fighters that really that shine, let's say.
He might be
Oh,
a
yeah,
fighter of
okay,
the year.
Okay, I got you. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, that shined. And I think they're the 2 fighters that really, along with Tom Aspinall.
Yeah.
Got to put Tom Aspinall in there, I think. And then as far as like breakthrough fighters, well, let's go back. Who do you think, aside from what MMA awards, fighters only awards awarded, who do you think is the fighter of the year in the UFC?
Fighter of the year or like
Wait,
breakthrough fighter?
Yeah,
Let's start with fighter of the year.
Yeah, Poatan.
Yeah, I got to go with that too.
I got to go with Poatan too.
Yeah.
Let's go with breakthrough fighter of the year. I think there's a couple here. Diego Lopez.
Yeah.
Even Sharaputin Magomedov.
Well, I'm not going with him.
Not going with him. What about
what about a kid like Peyton Talbot? I think he
I think he's up there too.
So if this were a stock market, guys, and we were trying to invest money to pull out money later, Peyton Talbot, I'm all in on Peyton Talbot.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get better and better. Yeah, Diego, I think, again, he's been around longer. I don't know if he's a breakout fighter, but, for the guys, like I would think, even a guy, if we're really going like to the beginning, a guy like Marcio Rufy, and that Jean-Claude, a couple of those fighting nerds, I think they will break out guys. We've seen them have a couple of fights, but they look outstanding. So I go.
What about our favorite one-eyed fighter that's not allowed to fight in the United States?
Shara? That double spinning backfish was crazy, but I still feel like we haven't seen him fight the best talent yet.
Yeah, well, either of these other guys, but it seems like he's been around longer outside of the UFC than these guys are young guys coming up. He seems like he's an older guy that's getting a little shine. So I don't know. It depends how you define breakout. But I like the young guys that we saw that came in, got knockouts in a very impressionable way. That's why I like Talbot. I'm not saying he's as skilled as Magomed at all, but as a breakout guy that maybe could do something, I think he's a kid that people want to see. And I think that
who is that? I'm sorry, who is that, Ray?
Peyton Talbot.
What about Carlos Pradas?
Yeah. I go with him too. Yeah. I like Pradas.
Let me throw one out there. Not breakthrough fighter of the year, but a guy that I am more impressed with than I thought I would be, especially after his last performance. And this is going to be one that I think people are like, why are you bringing this up? This guy's been on the radar forever. But what Ian Gary did against Shavkat Rakhmonov in defeat was so impressive to me. He's rubbed people the wrong way for a long time. Maybe he's misunderstood. Maybe it's part of a gimmick, but he almost finished Shavkat, guys. Like, he was very, very close to finishing that fight. He took that fight on relatively short notice, had a different opponent. Like, I find an appreciation right now for Ian Gary to be much higher for me than it was earlier this year.
It's a pure example of where your stock can go up with a loss.
Yeah.
It's based on performance. Yeah. Had he had better training on ground control,
I don't even know that. Like, it's a terrible stylistic matchup for Ian Gary, and he looked
terrible. But I mean, he almost had it. Ray, you see people, listen, you're a fantastic trainer. You know this sport
Yeah.
inside and out. You know everything inside and out. Could he have manipulated his positioning better to have closed that choke?
Uh, yeah, I think where TJ's coming from is that even in a loss, he's going to grow. He's going to grow more than
Yeah,
Shavkat's going to grow from the win. Is that correct, TJ? Like where you going?
100%.
He's
It
still a
was a
young guy,
benefit for
and
him despite not getting
he
his
can
hand
make
raised.
he can make a couple of little adjustments that'll go a long way. So I agree with TJ. Um, yeah, I that yeah I don't know. But that's what the way I'm looking at it, is that he, even in a defeat, you could see that he's got a long way to go, and he's already pretty fucking good. Like he can make a lot of adjuststants
And
just to get better and better.
he's that
Whereas I
prime
think
example
Shavkat
too,
is
guys.
Shavkat at this point. I don't
He,
think Shavkat's getting any better. You know what I mean? I think he is who he is now. I think
right.
I see room for growth in Gary, and the fact that that fight was so close, that's what makes it interesting to me.
What's crazy to me is Ian Gary is the prime example of what supreme confidence can do for a young man, because nobody believes in Ian Gary more than him. And I thought, honestly, guys, I thought he was going to get, shut up pretty vicious and violently against Shavkat, and that just wasn't the case, and that just blew me away.
Yeah, it blew
Yeah.
a lot of people away. I mean, they thought fight was over before it started. But listen, aside from Habib, we're never going to see, to a degree, fighters that have a perfect career with no losses, retiring from the UFC. All the greatest fighters, from Randy Couture to Conor to all the people that we consider were the top fighters have entered in the octagon, with the exception of John Jones, uh, have lost. So I mean, Ian Gary's
Right.
just he's in his progressionary, evolutionary process
Yeah.
of being a fighter in the UFC, and he's still a young man with a tremendously huge career ahead of
Well,
him.
let me ask
Without
that.
without a doubt. And I was going to say, TJ, like if we saw Ian Gary get exposed somewhere bad, then we wouldn't have this take. We'd say, well, but like maybe it is because we thought he was going to lose
Maybe.
worse than that. That maybe that's why we're going that way, because it makes it look different. But I don't know. I see an upside to Gary at this point. I think it's like just a growing fight for him. And like again, he's got the mindset where a loss, I don't think he'll make a. Some guys might mope over a loss. He's just going to roll right through that.
He's going to
Like
roll
he
right
won.
through it. His personality,
Yeah.
again, it's not just how he fights in the octagon. He's got the personality to carry it off. He's got the whole package.
Yeah.
Ian Gary's got an it factor to him, as you've heard me refer to on the show. That not many fighters come along like that. That have that total package it factor, which
Well,
he had.
I think
Yeah.
Ian Gary did Bilal Muhammad we lost Ray, we'll get him back. I think Ian Gary did Bilal Muhammad quite a service, in the sense that uh, the roadmap in beating Shavkat has been laid out. It's going to be a scramble game.
Yeah.
Bilal, when they do fight, he's going to have to focus on those scrambles, try to get a look at the back, because again, it's been a very tough riddle to solve, Shavkat Rakhmonov. And now I think that we've seen that he is fallible in certain ways. Yes, he wasn't caught, he wasn't beaten. But
Right.
if I'm Bilal Muhammad, I am studying the ever living shit out of that tape from Ian Gary and trying to implement some of the finer points that Ian did when they actually meet.
Oh, absolutely. No question. No question. We getting Ray back here?
Yeah, it's on him. Once he gets back in the room, we'll get him back on.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I wanted to talk to him about something very important here.
What's your New Year's plans? I know this airs after New
I'm
Year's.
taking it easy on New Year's. Listen, I've been traveling so much. I had a great experience last week, which was a sudden thing where I got a call from Zach Bryan, the very well-known country singer, to asking me to fly out to New York to open up for him for his last and final concert. And he did.
I saw that. It looked like a good time, Buff. I saw your behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, it was a great time. It was an unexpected great time, and it just turned out great. They called me like 2 days before the concert. I'm like, oh, I'm done for the year. I don't want to travel. As the Godfather says, they made me an offer I couldn't refuse. I want to thank them very much for the experience. It was an almost famous moment, being with them before, rehearsing with them earlier in the day. They sent a private jet, flew me out on a private jet, which was pretty
great.
amazing. I didn't have to deal with commercial.
Let me ask you this, Buff. Obviously, you've been in the sports scene, the UFC scene forever. You know what it's like backstage before a fight. What is it like? What is the dynamic like backstage before a big concert like that?
It's pretty. It's got its own level of intensity. You know, he has 200 crew members. Hopefully, you get Ray back. You want to send him a text. Um, his 200 crew members. You know, managing and putting together that whole production because it's a very, very big production.
Hmm.
And they have two trucks, two like double-decker trucks, which can house everything. And the reason for that is when they're traveling on the road, and these buses are huge. When they're traveling on the road, if they have back-to-back concerts, then the one truck takes off, with to the next city. So
Yeah,
let's say they're in New Jersey one day and New York the next,
yeah.
or give or take. The other truck is off and they're unpacking and setting everything up. So like a
Wow. So
NASCAR
they got simultaneous like crews operating.
simultaneous crews that operate, they're prepared to do the back-to-back night
Wow.
concerts. And then he flies in for it too. And before the concert happened in the back, everybody got in a circle. He sings a song,
Hmm.
right? So he's singing the song to everybody. They're having a good time. People are singing back with him. And then everybody intertwines for a group prayer.
Hmm.
And then we all get ready to do the walkout. And I walked out with his band, then set him off, introduced him. He walks out, does his concert, had a great time watching the concert, played for like an hour and 50 minutes. Then he walks off stage, and I want to say goodbye to him because I was going to leave after. And I say goodbye, thank you. And he goes, come back on stage. We're going back on to do an encore.
Oh
So I
wow.
went, yeah. So I went on stage with it. I said, well, I don't know the words to the song. He goes, well, no, that's okay. There's a monitor on stage. Sing with us. So I went back on stage, sang with them. Had a great time doing that. I posted it on my Instagram. Ray, welcome back, Ray. I'm talking about the fact I opened up a concert for the country superstar singer Zach Bryan. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not, um, but it was in New York at the Barclays Center. Sold out, what, 20,000 or more people. It was a complete
What's
sell.
that energy like, Bruce? Did they give you
It's
back the same energy?
Yeah, no, if anything, it's very UFC-ish. It's very high energy, a very young crowd. You know, he's got an older demographic, but I'd say the majority of his audience, what I noticed was that 18 to, like actually like teenage and up. We lost
Mm.
Ray again.
We're working through it, Buff.
Okay. Tell him to come back, please.
No, he knows. He knows.
Okay. So very, very high energy. And then on the encore, getting up there and singing with them. And one really cool moment I posted on my Instagram was when the drummer went into his solo, which I love drummer solos. I love guitar solos. Any solos are amazing. And I'm standing beside him in the midst of 20 to 1,000 plus people watching as he's doing it with the lights hitting the stage. And it's one thing to be in the middle of an arena performing and announcing for our great warriors of the UFC,
Hmm.
right? But to be in a concert setting, right? I've always admired rock stars, I've always admired rock singers and guitar solos and all that. But to be up there at that moment when that's happening, it was another bucket list moment for me. It was pretty incredible.
Have you? I mean, you've done things for like Steve Aoki and other DJs and stuff like that. But like, is this your first kind of like concert?
A concert of this magnitude, yes.
Okay.
Have I done vocal work and done stuff for other professionals? Yeah, I did a voiceover intro for J-Lo's World Tour a number of years ago,
Mm.
5 or so years ago, and
Oh man, I've been meaning to tell you this. There is a rip-off MMA game I saw online on the PlayStation Store where they're not using you for its time buff, but I can distinctly hear your voice going, "Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the main event of the evening." They're gonna definitely need to get a cease and desist.
you have to send me an example of that.
I will. I'll
And
do
for
it
everybody
later today.
watching, if you ever see anything like that, then here's Ray. He's back. If you ever see
Wait,
anything
wait.
like that, anybody ever seen like that, you can email me through brucebuffer.com, and I'll take a look at it
Wait,
and see
can
what's
you
next.
guys hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
see
we
you. We
hear
hear
you
you.
now.
Oh shit!
I
I
feel you,
feel like
Ray.
I've been here the.
I feel you.
No, I swear to God, I feel like I've been here the whole time. I never left, and then I hear Bruce go, "We got to get Ray back," and I'm like, "What the hell?" I'm looking. listening. I just haven't said anything. This is
It's
crazy.
cutting in
All
and
right,
out.
as long as you get it, let me know when. All right, we're back in business. But the concert was a big deal.
Yeah, the concert was a very big
That's
deal.
what I
It
was
was a
hearing.
very, very big deal. And again,
Where was that? The
no, it was
Garden?
at Barclays Center. I was just telling while you were
Oh,
offline, I
okay.
was just telling him all about it, but it was incredible.
Yeah, no, I
They
heard that.
it was a rock star moment, Ray. I didn't have to fly commercial. I mean, they sent a private jet up and back,
I tell you that.
and I did my
To me,
thing and
that's worth it. That's worth it
oh
right there,
yeah, no, it's
Bruce.
amazing.
You know,
I'll tell you, man, if you can afford it, it's the way to go. So if
I
somebody
want to
can,
know if
isn't
Ray
it?
Longo was ever in a band.
I was in a band as a kid. Yeah,
What do you play?
I play guitar.
Really?
oh Ray, really?
Are you proficient? Do you still play?
It's like a form of meditation to me. It's
All
not.
right.
I'm not that good. I had some songs I put up, me and the girl from the gym on Instagram, but those I think my account got totally ripped down. But I try. It's a challenge to me, so I like it. That type of
Nice.
thing. But I could squeak by with a couple of songs, maybe. That's about it. Not a like he's talking about what you're doing. Like any break is good, a drum solo, a guitar solo. That I'm not doing.
Don't worry, Ray. Makes two of us. Me
Yeah,
neither.
yeah.
I told this on the show before, but I wanted to play guitar when I was like 16 or 17. Went out, bought a Gibson SG for $350, one of the greatest
Oh,
rock guitars
nice.
ever made. That same guitar, which I don't have anymore, sells for like 40, 50, 60,000. It's amazing.
Oh
I
yeah.
I had a tutor, an instructor or whatever, and after 6 months, I didn't sound like Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. I gave it up.
You quit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
impatience took
My
over.
my
You
my
were one of the greatest
my
guitarists in
father.
6 months, so throw it in the closet.
Yay, exactly.
No, my
Exactly. I
yeah
can still
my
play a
my
couple little
father
short
actually
riffs of stuff, but that's about it.
my father actually taught guitar, and years ago, you'll appreciate this. He had a Fender Jaguar. I'm talking about we're in the '60s, and he
Wow.
traded it for a Les Paul,
Ooh.
gold plated tuners, and it was gold plated everything. Man, I'm actually forgetting the words to everything. Whammy bar. It had a gold plated whammy bar pickup.
Yeah.
And that guitar's got to be worth a shitload of money
It's
today. I
amazing.
think my brother still has it.
It's amazing what collector
Yeah,
guitars are worth.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
yeah.
You know, don't get me started on memorabilia, Ray. I'll be going off forever, talking forever. Listen, while
That's
we're on the
good.
subject, we've been talking about MMA. We've been talking about different things that happen. Let's go over the what probably are a few of the best submissions of 2024. I was thinking about it. I'm going to give it to Makhachev submitting Dustin Poirier. I thought that
Mm.
was a really good one. Um,
That was a good one.
and you can't get away from Hazmat Chimaev's face crank of Robert Whitaker.
Oh
That was just
man,
That was
brutal.
crazy, guys. I've never seen someone break someone's teeth in half from a face lock.
No, I don't think any of us have. And I think the other one that's really got to be spoken about and given credit for, and another fighter that definitely keeps shining, as we were talking about fighters that shine, is Paddy Pimblett choking out Bobby Green.
You know, I don't want to discredit Patty. I think he's supremely
yeah.
talented, but just part of me feels like Bobby was just in a wrong headspace for that fight. He
Might have
just came
been.
out super aggressive, and it was obviously to his detriment.
Yeah, might have been, but
Yeah.
still, you got to give Patty credit. Patty walks the walk, talks the talk, and backs it up. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Every time. Every time.
Yeah. So far, yeah, he's got a long way to go, but yeah,
No,
so
he's a long
far
way to go,
so
but
good.
he's young.
Yeah, I'm because I'm not feeling like what I feel about Ian Gary with him. You know what I mean? Like Ian Gary looks like he's just more squared away.
And that's a good point, Ray. And I think it kind of gets lost in the shuffle because the UFC is the ultimate stage, no pun intended when it comes to MMA. And we see these guys,
Yeah.
they grow up before our very eyes. Bo Nickel is in this spot right now, growing up under the brightest lights in the sport. And I think when these guys talk, it's the same platform. So we kind of judge them all at the same sort of level, but their development level is different. And guys break away from the pack. And getting back to what we were talking about with Ian Gary, despite losing, I think Ian Gary, in a lot of ways, is ahead of both Bo Nickel and Paddy Pimblett when it comes to their evolution and proving that they're the top shelf talent in mixed martial arts.
I can't argue that point. I give them all credit, though, but I
Yeah.
cannot argue
Well,
that point. Hey, Ray, bare knuckle fighting. Okay. Do you have any
yes.
fighters in your group that are fighting in the BKFC?
No.
What about this supposed $25 million tournament they're coming up with?
Supposed, that's the word.
Yeah, supposed.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot. That's a lot of money, and I can't see them even. I can't see that thing even being worth 25.
I don't know how they're going to break that
Okay.
down.
Do
Is it
you
going to
think
be
they
like a?
generate $25 million in a year? How do you hand that out as prize money?
I don't know.
Right, unless they get that money like they get it like an ESPN deal, and they have like a streaming thing where
I
they
don't even think an
guaranteed
ESPN
money.
deal. I'm sorry, but I don't think an ESPN deal is going to pay for that. What would pay for that is if suddenly the people of Saudi Arabia, right,
Yeah, that
enter the picture.
sounds like a Saudi deal for sure.
Ray,
We lost Ray again.
Ray, come back, Ray.
Here's the thing about that, Buff, and this is my thing. I just don't see a world where their product is so popular that they can hand out $25 million to a winner of a tournament and still keep the lights on. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a business guy. I'm not a dollars and cents type of person, but how many times have we seen these promotions, whether it be MMA, whether it be boxing? These people come in combat sports, and don't get me wrong, BKFC's been around for a while. They have paid fighters well, and are still in business to their credit. But everybody talks like a big lofty game, and then all of a sudden we find out it's not what it once was, said to be.
I know. Well, time will tell. But you know what? Everybody's going to talk. Everybody's going to talk. So I'm
Yeah,
telling Ray to come back.
I'm not the biggest fan of the bare knuckle stuff, and it's not because it's more violent and head trauma, anything like that. I think that the amount of broken hands that got to take place in that promotion, it's counterintuitive to what the sport is all about, because we want to see who the best fighter is, right, Bruce? Like
Right.
that's the whole point.
Right.
When you are risking your ability to continue fighting just because you might break your hand, we're not really seeing the best fighter win all the time.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And also, too, I mean, how many times have we gotten upset when fights get stopped due to cuts? There are so many more cuts, superficial cuts that, yeah, don't get me wrong, like you got to stop those fights when they happen, because bad injuries could happen. You cut an eyelid, things like that. But we're not seeing, one cut. Just because you cut a guy doesn't mean that you're the overall better fighter, the more technical guy.
Well, we just went through that recently with the recent UFC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah, he's back. Ray, I hope you stay with us. I gotta segue first. Oh, Ray, don't leave. There we are.
No, I'm not. Anytime I leave, I'm trying to get back on. So.
Ray, you remind me of the Jake LaMotta Sugar Ray Robinson fight. You didn't put me down, Ray. I just watched clips from that online. What a great fight that was.
Yeah.
Remember that fight?
Great movie too.
Yeah, exactly. Bye, Ray.
The worst part is, Buff, I think he's still here. I think his connection is just not.
If he's here, let's hear it.
For whatever reason.
Okay. Well, I think we covered everything. Not everything. There's so much more to cover. I want to say one thing. The fight of the year next year, the fight I think we all want to see, is John Jones and Tom Aspinall. And Dana White has been quoted saying 100% it's going to happen.
Do you want to see that more than John Jones, Alex Pereira?
Yes.
I don't know if I'm in that category. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to be absolutely in love with a potential Aspinall Jones fight, but we talk about greatest of all time, GOATs, all that stuff. We're never going to be able to see John Jones versus Alex Pereira with those two level sort of GOAT type of fighters compete ever again if we don't do it right now.
I know, but still at the same time, you're talking about a light heavyweight. John Jones has spent so much time putting on muscle and weight to go down to 205. Or rather, what would they fight at?
They'd have to fight at 205. Yeah.
It throws everything out that John Jones has been doing and working on for his personal, benefit in the last 2 years. He'd have to redo everything. It would take him out of the heavyweight division if he had to redo his whole body like that again. Just my humble opinion.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I just, I'm coming at it from a video game standpoint.
Video game standpoint, fine. Reality standpoint, no.
Yeah, you're right. Let me ask you this. You know, we're talking Jones, Aspinall. No one's been able to beat John Jones. You can argue that Dominic Reyes did it. You can, say that, well, technically there is a loss with the Matt Hamill. Do
Ray,
you
we're
think
talking John
Aspinall,
Jones, Pereira, John Jones, Aspinall, John Jones.
Nice.
do you guys think Aspinall has everything dialed in enough to be the first man to legitimately walk away with his hand raised against John Jones?
Yes, I do. I think he has all the tools. I think anybody can win on any given night in the
Can he
octagon.
wrestle? Can he out wrestle John?
I didn't say he could out wrestle. I said he has the tools. So, and those tools are the striking, the distance. It's sort of like a Gustafson type situation
Sure.
in a different way. Um,
But if John Jones gets a body lock on him, Aspinall's hitting the mat. I feel
Yeah, I
like
know, but the point, TJ, is, but can he get back to his feet? Because John's
Right.
not going to want to do that over and over again. And
That's true.
That's a big kid, Aspinall. Just
big
with his
kid.
youth and his size, and he's got to be working that wrestling unless he's
Yeah.
completely insane. I think, I think some of these guys can get that defensive wrestling down to enough where the other guy, like John, doesn't want to expend that type of energy over and over again. I don't think he can. So I think that's all Aspinall has to do is be able to scramble back to his feet a couple of times, and then you'll see that fight take a different turn.
That is
So-
true. We haven't seen John try to bully an actual heavyweight, right? Like
Right,
he didn't
right.
grapple much with Stipe. The Gon fight was over, and
he hasn't had to bully anybody. He finishes it so quick. That's not going to
Yeah, I
happen
know, but-
with Tom Aspinall.
Yeah, Stipe was 43 years old. And
Right.
He was absent for a long time, and Gon never had any wrestling, so I don't even know what that means. But
Listen.
this guy's going to give him way more resistance than he's ever seen before.
Listen,
But
let's say that. As the saying goes, we've all talked about on the show, you don't bet against John Jones. And I'm not sitting here saying that Aspinall is going to beat John Jones. What I'm saying is that out of all the fighters that John Jones has faced, this will be his toughest opponent and the opponent that I believe has the tools to beat him. And it's going to be one hell of a fight, and I can't wait to see it. And I'm sure they're both going to get huge, deserving paydays, which I love to
Oh,
see.
yeah. Win, lose, or draw, though, this would be the swan song of John Jones, no?
Totally. Give me one other fight you want to see next year.
I mean,
It
the only
goes
other fight I
down to-
really want to see, like must have, to me, is John Jones, Alex Pereira. But again, I think I'm living in
Not
a
gonna
fantasy
happen.
world.
Ray, you were offline. We were talking about, real quick to reiterate, John Jones has spent 2+ years, whatever it's been, gaining weight, gaining muscle to be a heavyweight. For him to go down to, let's say, 205 to fight, Alex, to fight Poetan, defeats everything he did.
But they can
And
do
I
a
don't think he
catch
can
weight,
redo his
Buck,
body.
220.
Huh?
220 catch weight.
But I don't know if you're talking about champions.
Right, but I mean, if it's to make a fight that otherwise wouldn't get made, let's do it.
If I was
think
Alexander
Bruce-
and I was in his group and I was coaching him the way Ray would coach his fighters, I'd say, stay what you're at, enjoy it, and admire John Jones for what he does, and just keep on being great, right? If they offer him 25 million, 30, 40, whatever it is, $1 million to go to 220 to catch weight, obviously you got to say yes. I don't see it
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening.
Oh, I could see Pereira. Yeah, but I could see Pereira coming in at like 225, 230 easy and just taking the fight.
If he wants to
they're
fight
paying
as
him
heavyweight, that's different. That's up to him. That's
Oh,
not
I
up to
think he would
Jones.
make
That's up to
that.
him.
I think Alex would make that. I think he would make that move, and he'd get a shit ton of money for that, and then probably they're all out after that payday.
Well, let me ask you this, guys. What's the bigger fight financially for the sport as a whole? Like, what's the biggest pay-per-view? Is it Aspinall Jones or is it Pereira Jones?
I think it's Jones Pereira.
I think it's Jones Pereira.
Then that's the fight that
know.
should happen.
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
can't
that-
knock
that-
Aspinall.
that-
What you're dealing with is you're
they
dealing with
both-
two international fighters fighting a USA champion, GOAT, and John Jones, as many people see it. And it's going to be huge either way, but we'll give the edge to Alexander, to Poetan. Definitely.
I agree with you.
Ray, getting back to the other question, are any of the fighters in your stable, if Bare Knuckle has this $25 million whatever, Do you think any of your people are going to want to get into have a piece of that?
Ray Longo's getting into it.
Oh, yeah. I could see that. Yeah, I'm just finding out about the 25 million. I never even heard that before.
It's all talk right now.
How long? Yeah, how long has that been floating around for?
Couple
Just-
months. Couple
yeah.
months.
Couple months. They're
But
all
it's not
touting it.
real yet, guys. Like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, my dad used to say, you know, believe nothing that you hear and only half of what you see, and that's pretty much my ideology.
Don't believe it till it's signed on the dotted line, gentlemen.
Ally
That's-
Quinta
that's-
getting in the mix for 25 mil bare knuckle.
I
What
can
what
see
about
Ally
that?
Quinta getting into it for sure for 25 million bare knuckle, of course. Hey,
That's a good
now
point.
I know that TJ has not seen Gladiator. Ray, have you seen Gladiator, the original?
Yes.
Okay, great movie, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. The Gladiator 2. Have you seen it?
That I haven't seen. How was that?
I thought it. I mean, I thought it was going to be great. Ridley Scott's one of the greatest directors of all time. I was very disappointed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
the problem, though, guys. When you try to do a sequel or a continuation in a series, when the first one is so good, it's very rare that you get something to the level of the original.
That's true.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of things here. Back then in the Coliseum, they were able to float it and try to recreate actual sea battles, for the audience.
Mm.
But in this one, it's like at first they bring in these monkeys, which are CGI or whatever it's called, imposed, and they're like, saber-toothed baboon type creatures, and it's like I'm like, where do they get these guys? And then all of a sudden, when they have the ships in the flooded Coliseum, they also have great white sharks swimming around. I mean, today, try to find a great white shark, put it in a huge aquarium-driven truck to drive inland somewhere to be in like a aquarium. That's
So
not
it's a little too unrealistic for you.
I found it a little
Wow.
unrealistic. I found it unrealistic.
Wow.
I found the scripting to not be. It was hard to follow the script. It's nonstop, movement. I
Hey,
thought
Drago,
the
say
fight
hello.
scenes were subpar compared to the first. And I hate saying this because I love the movie and I love
Yeah.
Ridley Scott, but I was basically just disappointed.
Yeah, Bruce, I got an old timer that just walked in. He wants to say hello to you.
And he's gone.
Has gone. Great.
What the heck is this?
I think Ray unplugged himself.
Is this a troll job?
God only knows.
Oh man. Hopefully he'll come back with a special guest. But
Well, let's start our sign off here, TJ. I mean, it's been a great year. Next year,
Yeah.
great year for UFC. Hopefully, a solid year for you too, and everything that goes with it.
hey,
can't wait.
just a little bit of personal news. I never say anything like this. It's very I feel it's self-absorbed. I don't really like doing things like this, but I'm proud of myself. I just extended my contract with UFC Fight Pass through 2025. It's a big
Congratulations.
deal to me and my family. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Good way to close out the year, and an even better way to close out the show is to get Ray Longo back.
Get Ray Longo back. Ray, we're signing off here. We're going to talk about what a year it's been in 2024. Looking forward to a great year in 2025. Wishing you and TJ all the best for everything, your goals and dreams. I can't wait for this year to be over because I can't wait for the new year to start. Definitely been a busy year. One of the busiest years I've ever had. And looking forward to a productive and happy one next year. Ray, who was the secret guest? Who was your surprise guest?
That was Pete Drago-Selli wanted to say hello.
Oh my God! Are you
Drago.
serious?
Yeah, I feel horrible. I sent him in the gym because
That's
he
okay.
goes.
Tell him-
I turn the phone to him. He goes, "It's reconnecting." I go, "Not again! Come on."
Man,
So
so
no more
Pete
Drago
falling
says-
off there.
Pete
Drago
Sell was
says
the
hello.
first guy I ever saw finish an arm in guillotine in mixed martial arts.
With Phil Baroni.
That's right.
That was a big fight.
I would have fanboyed out over Pete Sell.
Oh, come on, man! We could get him all anytime.
Wasn't
He's
Pete Sell the
always
one that had that?
Don't talk about the Scott Smith fight, Buff. Come
Yeah,
on.
okay. All right.
Yeah, that was Bruce was probably announcing that fight.
Oh, for sure he was.
100%. That was it's a highlight reel forever.
Yeah,
But,
it's obviously a high. It always pops out on the internet.
But again, I'll never forget that arm in guillotine. Even Rogan's like, the arm's in. This isn't over. He's not gonna tell. Oh, it's over.
Yeah. That's funny, man. Yeah, he's I think he made $2,000 for that fight.
Wow.
Different days.
Times have changed. What is it? What is it now for a first-time fighter in the UFC? 12-12.
12-12.
That's more than. Listen, people got to understand. If you saw boxing undercards and what people make on boxing undercards, it's a lot less.
I mean,
I'll tell you, around here, Bruce, if you don't sell tickets, you owe them money. How's that?
You're talking about as a boxing undercard?
Yeah, and on Long Island, those shows you have to guarantee a certain amount of tickets.
Wow.
Dana has said it best, I think, and I think it's true, and it's hard to wrap your head around. But mixed martial arts, it's an opportunity. It's not necessarily a career out the gate. It's an opportunity. And when you get to the UFC level now, I think it's a career. But you got to turn that opportunity into a career, and it's incredibly hard to do that. It's an uphill battle.
I agree.
Yeah, it really is, man. People don't get it, man. I tell you, that's what I like about Strickland when he was on Rogan. I would not recommend this to anybody. You know what I mean? I thought he said that perfectly. It's not the people, there's two types of guys. There's guys that fight because they love to fight, and there's the guys that fight because they love to be on TikTok and say they're in the UFC and
right.
I'm getting my free food and I'm doing this and I got an appearance and so and so wants to sponsor. It's fucking crazy. But to really make it, man, you better be squared away.
So for me, there are 3 personality types that you need to be one of to be a mixed martial artist at the highest level. And they're an athlete, a martial artist, and a fighter. Nick Diaz was a fighter. Robbie Lawler was a fighter. A martial artist, Damian Maia was a martial artist. And then an athlete like a Tyron Woodley was an athlete. You know what I mean? If you're not one of those 3, this isn't for you.
It's not for everybody, as they say.
Yeah.
Not for everybody.
It's funny. I had this conversation with a couple of guys in the gym. I mean, like I was always good at profiling who I think was going to make it. I think that's what I did probably better than anything. But like a guy like Weidman, when he was coming up, he would clear out a room. I mean, clear it out. And if you can't be that guy that clears out a room, you're not going to. It's like Sarah. Sarah, you could put him at the time, put him with 50 jiu-jitsu guys. He's tapping every one of them out, one right after the other. That's how good his jiu-jitsu was. You need that X factor. You know what I mean? To me, I mean, to get to the top, you need that X factor. Like even like Marab, not technically, but nobody's going to keep up with his endurance. He'll clear out a room on endurance. You just can't keep up with him. So you need those attributes, man. And if not, I mean, if you're not killing everybody in the gym, what's the think you could beat everybody in the UFC? You know what I mean?
But
so
that said, though, too, Ray, there's a ton of guys that were just gym beaters that, for whatever reason, couldn't put it together in the octagon.
Yep.
I can think of one guy that you're probably talking about because he's an old timer.
Yeah, I don't want to say the name, but
who are you talking about?
I'm not going to say. I'm not.
Give me the first initial.
Just say the name. We're getting off air. Just say the name.
The last initial. It's the last initial in R.
Yes.
Why don't you want to say the name?
Oh man.
Just say the name.
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
Keep him thinking. That's an example of keeping him thinking. Ray, is there anything you want to say to before we sign off?
No, just
What I always said, Ray is a man of either many words or very few words, so we'll leave it at that. You gotta love Ray Longo. That's one of the best sign-offs ever. TJ, you go.
But I swear to God, people are going to think we planned this. We did not. Ray Longo's internet, it hates us. I'm on X and Instagram at TJ DeSantis. That's all I got. Happy New Year to you and yours, Puff.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy New Year to you too, TJ. Let's have another great year, a better year than ever. Thank you for all you do as producer and co-host of the show. All my best wishes to you and love to you and your family for the new year. And I wish you nothing but the best as always, you know?
Same to you, Buff.
Health, prosperity, and happiness I wish you all that and more.
I'm making 185 and 25. I'm telling you.
Ozempic boy, there you go. Make it happen. Anyway, you're doing it on your own. Do what you keep doing because it's obviously working and you look great.
Thanks, Buff.
Sounds good. All right, everybody watching and listening, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you so much for watching and putting up with our rollback tete-a-tetes that we go through. I hope that we provide you with a lot of entertainment and enjoyment and a few laughs in the process. But mainly for everybody out there, I wish you all the best. I wish you, your families, your loved ones, everyone, again, same thing, health, prosperity, happiness, all that the new year can hold for you. Set your goals, write them down, so when you step on that yellow brick path to your future in 2025, you perform and be the best you can be, because then you're winning. And as I always say, that's what we're all about on It's Time Radio, is winning. Thank you all. I can't thank you enough for tuning in. Can't wait to see you all next year. I could go on and on and on because I'm a man of many words, even when I'm not being paid for it. But right now, Buffer's out. Big cheers, everybody. Happy New Year. Thank you.